Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hello, one and all. Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm your host, Alex Rudy, and Happy New Year. We are 6 days into the new year. Hope you're enjoying it. Maybe already accomplishing some goals you've set for yourself, or some resolutions you're committed to. That's what it's all about. And my mission is more time. More time to get guests, interview them, put them on the podcast, give you more content from here. Time to spend with my loved ones, friends, family, gain more experiences, create more memories. That's the goal. More time to do these things. Because you are limited. Granted, you can stay up late or wake up early and do a lot, but no matter what, at some point, you got to get some sleep. And it could be 7 to 8 hours. That's a lot of time. You're just laying there. And the time you're awake counts. So why not use it wisely and do something you love, something you're interested in doing or learning, or being with a loved one, taking a walk, going to see a play, maybe write something. There's so much out there, especially for us creatives, to explore. So let's move on to today's guest. Her name is Staci Sabarsky, another person I met at the Tampa Bay Theatre Festival networking event. She runs Innovative Theater. Great title. And she has a play coming out this week. It's called Ashana Madel. And we'll go into what that's all about in our little chat. A little bit about Staci. She always had a passion for acting and performing. She went into the working world as a professional corporate trainer and consultant, but then after 17 years, she returned to college. She got her degree in dramatic arts from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She also got into teaching, directing, and coaching students of all ages. But she's been in several stage productions herself. Some favorite roles include Stella in A Streetcar Named Desire, Maureen in Rent, Deborah in The Smell of the Kill, to name a few. And then she made her way back to Florida and got involved with Stageworks and became an assistant director for Broadway Bound. And then from there, she went on to create Innovative Theater, wanting to focus in on social awareness theater, shows that have a message in them while telling a great story and giving you great theater all at the same time. It's very unique, something you don't see, that a theater is sticking to one kind of genre, not doing everything. I commend her for that. And there's so much more. So without further ado, sit back and enjoy my conversation with Staci Sabarsky. And everyone, let's welcome to the show, Staci. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Good to have you. It's been a while since I saw you at the networking event in Tampa.
Yes.
And a lot's happened since then, I'm sure, and we'll get into that. All right, let's do this. Staci, where did Staci grow up?
Where did Stacy grow up? Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, and then my family moved to Florida to Dunedin when I was 10. And so, for the most part, grew up in the Dunedin area until my husband and I got married, and then we moved to North Carolina for 20 years. And about 4.5 years ago, we moved back to Florida. So,
Now, growing up, were you always drawn to acting, performing?
Well, not as a child so much. I was actually very shy. But in high school, I started getting into theater, and that's where I kind of found I found my voice, kind of, so to speak, and then found confidence in performing and being someone else on stage instead of being myself, which I think a lot of shy or introverted people, it's a comfort to them because you're given the words to speak. So you always know the right thing to say.
Absolutely. So what was it, a performance, or maybe someone encouraged you to try out?
You know, I'm not exactly sure how it came about, but as a rising freshman, Dunedin High School used to have a summer musical theater program, and my mom signed me up, and I did the summer musical at Dunedin High School, and then I was kind of hooked. So got into all kinds of drama classes there, and all through high school, and then after high school, and yeah.
Do you remember that first play you did?
Well, I did some things as a child. I mean, and I don't remember those too much. I just kind of remember, them through the pictures and the photo albums, that kind of thing. I did a community theater play when I was a freshman, Life with Father in Dunedin. And I played a maid, and I had one line, which was, "Yes, sir." So that was my big, I guess, well, other than being, like I said, in the summer musical and some things as a child. So sort of started it, I guess.
And you're out of high school. Do you want to go pursue acting? Why don't you?
Oh, right out of high school? Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, I did want to, but my parents wanted me to pursue business, get a real job, and a real degree. And I ended up going to SPJC. At that time it was SPJC. Now it's SPC. And I got my 2-year degree, and I started going to USF. But my heart wasn't really in it because I wasn't majoring in theater or doing something that I really enjoyed. So took a very different path for many years in the corporate end of things, and worked for the development office for Subway sandwiches and helped open lots of new Subway stores all around the area here and then in North Carolina. But then realized that there was something really missing in my life, and that was theater. So after 17 years of being out of college, I decided to go back to school. And so I went to UNC Chapel Hill and got my degree in dramatic arts there many years later. So
Why that school?
Well, it's a really great school. It wasn't far from where we were living, for one thing. We were very close to UNC, Duke, and NC State, but UNC had a very respected theater program, and I started taking a few classes there to sort of get my feet wet again after being out of school for so long, and liked it, and that's where I ended up getting my degree. So,
Dramatic arts is the degree.
Yes.
And this was 2006. You get the degree.
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do from there?
Well, from there, I went to work for Raleigh Little Theater, where I had been performing, but then they have a year-round education program there. So I started teaching for them in their after-school and weekend program. And then I started teaching at Duke School, which is a private elementary and middle school, very close to the Duke University, and taught performing arts there for 5 years before we ended up moving here. So really kind of dove back into the arts, acting, performing, directing, and teaching. So
Why teaching? What made you go decide, I want to try this teaching thing?
Well, it was something that I'd always sort of thought about a little bit about, I don't know. It's a really interesting question. I think when I was working with Subway, I did a lot of training, and in some ways of that, not in some ways, but that is teaching. So I knew people at Raleigh Little Theater, and they're like, well, do you think you might want to teach some classes here? And as I started there, just doing 1 or 2 classes, I realized that I really enjoyed it. And gave me a lot of freedom to think about the types of classes I wanted to teach.
Which were?
So, everything from, you name it. We did some improv classes, scene study, auditioning workshops, some Shakespeare, some writing, like page to the stage type classes where students would write their own work and then perform it. So I did lots of things over the years, and they gave me a lot of freedom there to sort of create the type of classes that I wanted to teach, which was really great. And then when I started teaching at Duke School, they wanted to incorporate music as well as drama. So I kind of taught a little bit of music as well as drama.
Wow.
Great, a small private independent school, project-based school, and had a lot of interesting flexibility because the teachers all collaborated. It was being project-based, so when they studied ancient Greece, for example, in art, they would create the ancient Greek style masks. And then, in social studies and language arts, they'd be learning about, what ancient Greece was like and plays at the time and why they wrote plays and how they performed them. And I would then, in performing arts, we would write some plays based on topical social issues of the day, which is what they did in Greece. And then I would help them stage them, and they would use their masks that they created in art. And so it was a very interesting and great experience because they really tried to do things cross-curricularly and have the teachers work together. So that was really a lot of fun and very different. Again, the curriculum was always changing because it depended on the projects that they were doing in each grade.
Now, were you teaching at both places?
Well, when I started at Duke School, which became full-time, then I was only doing Raleigh Little Theater, maybe a class or 2 on the weekends, things like that.
Now, at the Little Theater, were you teaching people of all ages?
Yeah, they have classes starting from like itty-bitties through adults. So kind of taught the gamut. My favorite's probably middle school, high school. And I do enjoy also working with adults because it's obviously a different level of participation when you have adults who really want to do something and try something. And I had all kinds of students from lawyers to, I don't know, moms. I had a woman who was actually a professional clown, and she said she wanted to, I know, right? But she wanted to feel comfortable. She's like, I'm really comfortable once I put on the makeup because then it's like not me, but I want to be comfortable with myself on stage. So she was taking acting classes, and like I said, at lawyers and just moms. I even the governor currently of North Carolina, his wife took my classes for a while.
Wow.
The first lady of North Carolina, yes.
How to act like a first lady.
Well, at that time she wasn't the first lady, but she is now.
She was rehearsing for the role. Okay.
Perhaps she was, yes.
Now, during this time, were you doing any acting yourself?
Yeah, I always kept up with it because it's something I really enjoyed.